Here is a video on cutting your boyfriend's hair at home. This is one of the hottest looks around at the moment. You cut the sides really short and then cut the top into a pointed shape around the front, but it's very curved on the crown and blends into a longer top. It's easy to do at home. You just need your weld clippers, which you've probably already got if you're a serious home hair cutter, and you need the Freestyla layer guides to create the shapes through the top. I'm starting off here. I've pinned the top hair up out of the way, and I'm using a number 4 to cut the sides off. Now you'll notice the use of a comb. I'm combing the hair down and using it at the top just as a guide. Now I'm not cutting it short all the way around. You take the clippers up and then away from the head. See how the comb's going in there just to scoop the hair away. And now let's see the comb used on the other side. So we're going up with the number 4, holding that hair with the comb and cutting it away. Of course you can use a number 2 or a number 3 or even number 1 through the sides for this style, but here I'm using a number 4, cutting it short and then blending up very slightly longer to the top, and we're going to layer the hair from there. So let's finish cutting through the sides with the number 4. You'll notice a curve around the ear a bit and then just keep coming up until all the hair is clippered off. Often, depending on the thickness of the hair, it takes a few runs through and then skim over like that when you're finished. And here I'm just using the Freestyla hairline guide to get a neat line around the ears and around the neckline. Then just freehand the little bits away behind the ear and take the clips out, and we can start layering through the top. Now, the crown goes from the short back gradually longer towards the top. It's not long hair around the crown, just at the front. So we're using the layer guide. You open the teeth up, slip the layer guide in, roll it backwards, and blend that short length with a longer top. Keep going through, rolling backwards and curving that top in. It's not meant to be long around the crown, just blending from the shorter back and sides. Doesn't take long with the layer guide to finish cutting through there. Open the teeth, slip through and roll back, and that's giving that shorter to longer look. Now we're blending the sides. I'm opening the comb up, slipping the guide in, rolling it backwards, and I'm doing a curved shape through the side to cut a slightly pointed shape, 1, 2, 3, 4, through the sides, roll backwards and take all that thick hair off. This is creating a pointed front with short sides. Roll backwards and finish that off. Right the way through, and then it's the side finished. Check it looks good, of course it does, and into the other side. Again, just the same, roll backwards and clipper off. The curved shape gives a perfect line through the top. Roll it back and clipper all that thickness off. You get a really neat look at it here. Just rolling back, clip it off, and that has shaped all those shorter sides into the longer top, blending into longer at the front. Now we just want to finish off the layering through the top. You see how the guide grips the hair and holds it in place, and then we'll just use the clippers along the top to get that absolutely perfect finish. Let's go back towards the crown, and you'll see how the shorter crown blends in to the longer front. with the curve, finish it off, check it in there, and you can see that's given a perfect line going from the shorter back into the longer pointed top. Now we've fitted the spiker, the Freestyla spiker, to the wire clippers. Depending on the thickness of the hair, sometimes you can just go through once, sometimes you've got to go through more. On this hair it's very thick, so I'm going through a few times. I'm using that herringbone crisscross movement to cut this chunky texture into the hair and give it a much more interesting professional look. Here I'm just flicking out a bit more texture. On normal hair you probably only need to go through once. On thicker hair you can go through more often. Here I'm just giving some shorter textures in around the front. Lift it back, and now I'm fitting the Freestyla thinner. That is used in a downward motion through the shorter sides. It takes out some weight and creates a bit of texture in the shorter hair. So we just go down through the sides, and if there's still a bit of thickness in the top, you can just take out a little bit of extra hair through the top with the thinners. Of course, finish the hair off with some product, and there you have it, easy to do at home with your weld clippers and Freestyla clipper guides. Here we are, the Freestyla clipper guides. Enjoy cutting at home.